What Mortal Kombat 13 must have to avoid rage from the fans? Let's get right to it. Comment below what you want most in the game. Number 1, the Krypt. Mortal Kombat 13 absolutely needs a Krypt mode. It's essential to the Mortal Kombat identity, one of those many things that makes the franchise what it is. For every other fighting game, unlocking stuff is pretty boring. You either beat arcade mode, or you go to the store and purchase it directly, or sometimes there's nothing to unlock. I'm looking at you, Guilty Gear Strive, where are the costumes? But Mortal Kombat has always had the Krypt, or at least for decades now, it's had the Krypt. A unique way to unlock stuff that's satisfying and adventurous too. It gives the player a feeling of discovery, and that needs to come back. Now with that said, Mortal Kombat 11's Krypt is gonna be tough to top. I'm not sure if NetherRealm can honestly do it because that Krypt was peak. I can't imagine anything better. But also, it doesn't have to be better, just competent, right? Let us walk around, explore the Krypt, and unlock chests. That's pretty much all we need. Even in Mortal Kombat 9, the Krypt was competent, and Mortal Kombat X is a good middle ground to shoot for. You still explore, you still unlock stuff, and have to find secret items. It was awesome. So even if NetherRealm can't recapture the magic of MK11's Krypt, they can still achieve something awesome. And the main point is the Krypt needs to come back. Not having that in Mortal Kombat 1 was such a dumb move. Number 2, custom loadouts for characters, as in their appearance. Recent Mortal Kombat games let you customize your characters, which is actually rare for 2D fighting games. 3D fighters like Tekken and Soul Calibur have been doing it for much longer. But when it comes to 2D fighters, I think Mortal Kombat is the only one that lets you customize your characters to a decent extent. There's tons of costumes and gear pieces, but none of that matters if we can't have several loadouts saved for one character. For Mortal Kombat 1, you were locked in, which made no sense. What's the point of having all that customization if I'm locked into one appearance? That's so lame. In Mortal Kombat 13, we absolutely need custom loadouts for our characters, as in their costumes, appearances, gear, all that stuff. Number 3, this part is my personal preference, but I want free stuff for playing, similar to the Battle Pass in Marvel Rivals. That game has the perfect amount of grinding to get free stuff. In fact, it never feels like grinding to me, so if anybody at NetherRealm is watching this video, and I know for a fact you are, copy what Marvel Rivals is doing, the Battle Pass and also the daily challenges for different characters. Both Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1 had challenges, but not for different characters, which is a big missed opportunity. One of my favorite things about Marvel Rivals is that there's challenges for different characters. In other words, you must play this character if you want to complete that challenge, which was brilliant because I ended up loving characters that I otherwise never would have played. Tying some challenges to specific characters is a great way to incentivize players to use other characters. Do that, NetherRealm. Real quick, I wanted to stop and remind you all to subscribe if you're new to this channel, because who else is posting daily Mortal Kombat content? Make sure to ring that bell to get notified the instant my next video goes up. Number 4, the challenge towers need to stay. Mortal Kombat 11 had them, and then Mortal Kombat 1 got them eventually, and to me, the challenge towers are essential. It's important for players to have that single player content if they hate playing online. Now that might sound crazy to fighting game veterans, and trust me, I understand you because I'm a veteran too, but there's tons of Mortal Kombat fans who are offline warriors. In fact, I would argue that Mortal Kombat especially has a huge number of casual players, and many of them don't like getting sweaty online. They want their single player content, so the challenge towers have to stay, because a big chunk of Mortal Kombat fans don't like battling against other players. In fact, NetherRealm, add a co-op mode. I think that would be fantastic. Add co-op elements to several of these single player modes, because honestly, everybody wants to play with their buddies from time to time. Even I myself, as a fighting game veteran who's been playing for decades, would love an option to play with my buddies instead of against them all the time. It would be refreshing. So if you want $1 million idea, NetherRealm, there it is. Cooperative gameplay modes. Number 5, new story mode structure. Being locked into the same character for several matches straight is just bad for storytelling. NetherRealm games are widely known for their story modes, whether it's Injustice or the Mortal Kombat games. They've pioneered a lot in that genre. In fact, I would argue that NetherRealm is the main reason why every fighting game has a story mode now, whether it's Tekken, Street Fighter, you name it. NetherRealm's story mode paved the way for other fighting games to follow, and I like that. However, their story structure needs to change, because being locked into the same character for several matches straight is just bad for storytelling, and also it removes all the tension. When the game says Raiden's chapter, I instantly know he's going to win every fight. Even if he's fighting people he shouldn't be able to beat, like Onaga or something, Raiden's gonna win because it's his chapter. So like mentioned earlier, the tension is completely gone. Honestly, this topic could be its own separate video, but to keep things simple, story mode should be allowed to change fighters way more often. That way the villains get more wins and actually feel threatening. Characters like Baraka and Quan Chi, maybe Ermac, or even Melina if she becomes evil in the next game will get more wins wins if the game switches characters more often and isn't locked in for an entire chapter. And honestly, having the option to choose which character you fight with would be amazing, especially if the two characters are similar in strength, like Melina versus Kitana. Instead of being locked into one character, you as the player can choose in that moment which character wins the fight because you play as them and they win. Remember how amazing the finale of Mortal Kombat 11 was because we could choose Shang Tsung or Liu Kang and get a different ending? Yeah, that was amazing. Now imagine it happening several times in the same story mode, and it actively changes the story, not just the ending. Based on which character you pick, the story could change a lot. For example, you could pick only the villains and create a really dark story where bad things keep happening, or if you're more of a Boy Scout, a goody two-shoes, you pick all the heroes and get a good story with a more good ending. You get the idea, right? Having a fighting game story that actually changes based on your choices would be incredible. So there you go, NetherRealm, another $1 million idea. Allow the player to actually pick what happens in the story mode by choosing certain characters. And also, don't lock the player into one character for 4 matches or 5 matches. It just gets redundant and also kills all the tension. There's just not any drama when we know the character is gonna win every single fight in their chapter, which is terrible because Mortal Kombat should have drama. It's a series around characters dying in brutal fashion. There should always be tension. There should always be drama. And that could actually happen if the game kept switching between characters more often instead of locking into one character for 4 matches or 5 matches. You get the idea. Number 6, also one of my preferences, give the player XP even if they're playing in lobbies against their friends. Other fighting games do this, like Tekken 8, and it's very refreshing. Even if I'm just playing with buddies, I still get currency. I still get XP that I can use to unlock stuff for my characters, whether it's customization or their profile picture. You get the idea. I think it's a great idea to reward the player regardless of which game mode they're playing. If it's online, they get XP and currency, but if they prefer offline, they still get currency and XP, and even if they play with their buddies in private lobbies, they still get XP and currency. I think that's a really good practice for video games in general, not just fighting games, because some people prefer playing with their buddies. Maybe that's just me, but I'm not a huge fan of playing with random people online. Sometimes it is fun, and I do have that itch that needs to be scratched, but most of the time, I just enjoy playing with my friends who are all at a higher skill level. Number 7, Onaga. Yeah, plain and simple. The next Mortal Kombat game needs to have Onaga as the final boss. And honestly, making him playable like Shinnok would also be really cool. At first, I was sad that Story Mode Part 3 got cancelled for Mortal Kombat 1 because it seemed like Onaga could show up, but the cancellation might actually be a blessing in disguise since it means Onaga gets a full game now. Because I genuinely can't think of any other villain for the next game. Like what, is NetherRealm gonna repeat Shinnok again? I mean, they did repeat Shang Tsung, so anything is possible, but hey, let's try to stay positive. The next Mortal Kombat game needs to have Onaga, and we all agree on that. But alright everyone, there you have it. Everything that I believe Mortal Kombat 13 needs in order to avoid rage from the fans. But like mentioned earlier at the very start of this video, comment down below what you think the next game needs most. And yes, I'm well aware the next game could be Injustice 3 or possibly Mortal Kombat vs DC 2. That's definitely a possibility. But regardless, everything I laid out in this video is applicable, with the exception of the krypt. Injustice 3 will not have the krypt. But everything else mentioned in this video is very important and needs to be in the next NetherRealm game, regardless of what they choose to call it. So thanks for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton, and if you're new to this channel, keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. My previous video had some audio differences because I changed microphones, and a lot of you did not like that, so now the old microphone is back but in a newer model. So it's still the Blue Yeti, but a brand new Blue Yeti. So hopefully that means the audio quality is fantastic. Make sure to let me know in the comments. Then make sure to watch this video next. It covers all the best characters in Mortal Kombat history for every single game. That's right, the strongest Mortal Kombat characters in every single game. It gets pretty crazy, and you're not gonna believe how overpowered some of these characters were. It's ridiculous. So if you haven't already, make sure to watch this video on screen right now. It's an incredible ride. Thanks for your time, everyone. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.